Every good game has its worst part. From the grueling final hours of Final Fantasy XV to the painfully difficult Meat Circus stage of Psychonauts to some of the more frustrating motion control shrines of Breath of the Wild. And classic games are no exception. Here are 6 of the worst parts in great games. Number 6. Atlantica, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Any jerk could tell you, water levels are the worst part of any game. You know this already, you've known it for years, and Square Enix should have known better, especially because access to Disney's The Little Mermaid is such a natural entry point to a good water stage. Due to some unbelievable oversight, the same buttons that move you up and down in the water are the same buttons that make you rocket forward like an idiot. It's like making the brake pedal of your car double as a NOS boost. This is compounded by the unbelievable fact that you cannot move the camera at the same time that you're moving. Atlantica only became worse in the sequel. Sure, it was optional, but it returned as an insipid musical minigame that made you want to drown yourself in the ocean. Or on land, or, wherever really. Number 5. Surface 2, Goldeneye 007. You may not like to hear this, but if you could pry those rose-colored glasses off before they fuse to your face, you'll find that Goldeneye 007 was a pretty deeply flawed, albeit still very fun, game. Your best memories might be those all-night, no-odd-job sleepovers with your friends, tuning out the wildly inconsistent single-player campaign levels. The worst offenders were Surface 1 and 2. Empty, flavorless snow levels that had you hunting for isolated outposts like searching for a polygonal needle in a low-poly haystack. Let's not forget that Surface 2 had you doing this while shrouded in darkness, flailing wildly, frustratingly, and directionless, much like the ensuing Brosnan Bond movies. Number 4, the train mission, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Grand Theft Auto is a game about cars. I mean, it's right there in the title, so you'd think that the driving missions ought to be fun. But San Andreas was hands down at its worst when it decided to let an NPC take control of the shooting and telling your player character CJ that he just has to follow the damn train. In this game, cops snipe you with handguns like master marksmen, but your NPC pal Smoke can't waste a dude dangling off a train from point blank range. Worse yet, when the mission fails on account of your idiot AI partner, he has the gall to turn around and blame you.
All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ.
I'm sorry, Smoke, all you had to do was shoot 4 dudes, man. Full disclosure, I beat this mission on my first try and I didn't know until years later that I just got incredibly lucky. So for me, the worst part of the game is number 4.5, the remote control plane mission. Oh, holy fuck, I'm losing my mind just thinking about it. And I already lost hours of my life trying. Number 3, space buggies and planet mining in the Mass Effect series. Ignoring the much maligned ending of Mass Effect 3 and the inconsistencies present in Andromeda, the rest of the series is a solid opportunity to explore worlds, uncover new corners of the galaxy, and humor interesting aliens by accepting their religious pamphlets. And it's a great idea to be able to traverse these environments in as many ways as possible. Or it would be if the ATV physics didn't handle like a bar of soap covered in vegetable oil sliding through an ice factory on the moon. The upshot is these areas are mostly vacant for ease of traversal. The downside is these areas are mostly vacant for ease of being super boring. In Mass Effect 2, they ditched the planet exploring completely and somehow came up with something worse. The decent endings of the game were gated off by having to play a horrible planet mining minigame. The only good thing to come of this is that you could get the game to say probing Uranus.
Probing Uranus.
Number 2, Mount Moon in Pokemon Red and Blue. Mount Moon is your first major challenge in the first set of Pokemon games. After breezing through a couple easy battles, catching some Pokemon, and curb stomping a gym leader, you get the game's first big dungeon. It's way bigger and more complex than anything you've encountered before, and it almost kills the whole game. It's 3 full floors of mazes, lots of battles with trainers, and different members of Team Rocket. But the worst part, you can't walk 10 feet without a Zubat encounter. Look at this! There's too many Zubats! Number 1, the great Triforce hunt of The Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker. Before Breath of the Wild, Wind Waker was the last great Zelda game. It had a stunning look, great sailing mechanics, and wonderful dungeons. The only trouble was its awful padded ending. The game concludes with you trotting the game's world to find 8 shards of the Triforce before the final battle, a tedious task that requires you to backtrack and find and collect a map in order to actually track down and collect the pieces you need. Oh, and you need to bribe Tingle to translate that map before you could even do that. The extra terrible thing is, Nintendo admitted that they cut several dungeons from the game because they thought the game was too long. Why they left in this aggravating padding is beyond all reason. Luckily, they partially fixed this for the Wii U re-release, making the game's amazing ending finally accessible to the 15 people who owned a Wii U.